Good morning, happy new vlog. The reason I look so tired is one of the reasons is because it is 8:15 in the morning and I'm going to an away day. And I don't really do this time in the morning on a Saturday, except when I have to.
Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
Anyway, I think this is as nice as the weather is going to be all day. That's encouraging, isn't it? And after away day, which lasts until about 2 o'clock, going to go into Kingston, meet Crystal, and then going to go home. And Crystal's dad's going to come round for dinner because her mum is currently in the Canaries and we're slightly jealous of that. So we're going to occupy her dad with some food. Yes, but before then I've got to get through quite a lot of discussion about the future of development and social housing in this and the surrounding boroughs. So in less happy news, last night there was another attack in Paris. In fact, there were multiple attacks in Paris. They think about 120 people are dead at various bars and restaurants and music venues, which is, you know, the kind of it's what everyone's always feared and might happen, to be honest, although not necessarily in Paris. I don't really have a feeling on this, if I'm honest. It's obviously very sad for the people involved, but it's also become slightly, I don't know, it just feels slightly cold to the whole thing. Obviously, it's idiotic. It serves no purpose. Yes, sorry Paris. I'm sorry that you're bearing the brunt of this. It's very sad and there's very little we can do about it. And the people involved are obviously very stupid. And I'm not going to give them any more credit than that. Anyway, let's talk about something less depressing than murder, because, you know, there's only so much time I'm prepared to give over my life to sort of idiots and butchery. So, Christmas, that's coming up. I'm quite looking forward to it. Before we get to then, the wonderful American holiday of Thanksgiving, which is a fantastic excuse, as I've said before, for family and food. Hopefully I'll be doing something for that. Last year we had a full Thanksgiving roast and I made another pumpkin pie. May have slightly overdone it on the pumpkin pie so far this year, so I might have to slightly rethink that. There's only so many pumpkins a man can eat before you're sort of, you know, done with it for a full year. I don't know if you get the same in mince pies, where you like the first mince pie of the year, you think this is amazing, I love mince pies, and then after about 2 dozen, or maybe less, you think, oh god, yeah, I've eaten enough mince pies. I've reached both the mince pie optimum and the pumpkin pie optimum already, and it's only the second week in November, so that's a bit concerning, isn't it? Good afternoon, just. Welcome to Westfield, pre-Christmas, although sufficiently pre-Christmas that it's not completely terrible yet. Yeah, so they're building the ice rink slowly. Building up the layers of ice. Still got all the decorations. Already got all the decorations out. So that's how you know it's nearly Christmas. In 6 weeks. Hello, good morning. It's Monday. I would just like to revise some of the comments I made about attacks in Paris on Saturday morning when I was frankly very tired. Not an excuse, but I've just had time to think about it a bit more. So I said they wouldn't actually achieve anything and they were completely pointless, or something along those lines. That's not true. They will achieve something because what they will achieve is fear. And what they seem to have successfully done is to convince certainly significant portions of right-wing politicians that the best response to this is A, more surveillance, and B, to, you know, step up attacks essentially against Islamic State, which is exactly what they want. Now that might sound ludicrous, but it is exactly what they want. What they're trying to do is they're trying to breed a story which is an us versus them mentality. Now, if we're not doing a lot against them, then it makes it very hard for them to peddle this story the whole time about the whole of the West is against us. Now you might say, well, you can't just leave them. You can't just let them get away with that. That's ridiculous. And that might be your view, but my view is that ultimately, with all forms of terrorism, what ultimately ends up happening is you have to sit down and debate it. You have to sit down and talk about it with the people that you hate. Look at Northern Ireland. That's a very good example of where that ultimately had to happen. If you believe that we don't negotiate with terrorists ever, you are very naive. We do all the time. That is how these conflicts are stopped. So we could carry on bombing each other, and I can't see any evidence to say that that isn't going to happen, unfortunately. But the only way this is going to stop is if there is a negotiated settlement. You might think that's unacceptable, but that is the truth. There's simply, neither side is going to win this. You're not going to be able to bomb the other side out of existence. Not on either side. It will not happen. So, you're going to have to come round to the idea that there are horrible people in the world. There are some very nasty people in the world who don't seem to put any real value on human life. But at some point, in order to stop them killing people, your best bet is going to be to sit down and talk to them. Horrible though that is. One final thing, because obviously this is very depressing and this is week-old news as far as you're concerned. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but don't let this change your habits under any circumstances. Don't let it change your plans or the way you live your life. That is pointless. Don't let it change the way that you see people, and don't let it change the places that you visit. I think that's very, very important. It certainly won't affect me in the slightest. And more than that, I'm not going to engage with this in any further manner. I'm not going to be posting blogs about how I'm with the people of Paris or adding avatars to my social media. I don't actually think any of that helps. If anything, it's slightly divisive. Obviously, I feel very sad for the people that have been affected, but I'm not going to go around waving a flag about it. I think all forms of nationalism are dangerous. So there we go. The absolute best thing you can do is to pay this no heed at all and pay it no more attention. And so I can only apologise for wasting the last 5 minutes of your life. Let's get back to more, joyful things. I mean, Christmas is nearly upon us. I've done almost no shopping. That's wonderful news. My plants are taking a battering because the weather's so terrible. That's wonderful news. But we've got the suitcase out because we need to start packing for Berlin. Because it's less than 3 weeks till we go. It's, in fact, it was 3 weeks on Friday. It's 2 weeks this coming Friday. So I'm really looking forward to that. Some Christmas markets, some general Berlinerness. It's going to be great fun. And of course, you get to come along for free. You're welcome. Good evening. I'm in the back streets of Teddington, heading to Audit Committee. And of course, it's dark because it's winter and the sun rises again in April. I haven't really been out today. The weather's been very mixed. There was a very strong storm coming in with a name that I can't recall. I'm going to call him Barry. And Barry was a bit annoying. And there was a lot of wind and a lot of rain. But Barry's gone, so tomorrow things could be wonderful. I certainly have to get into town tomorrow. I've got a lot of shopping that I need to do and Christmas presents I need to think about. So here's hoping the end of Barry brings some real productivity. So it turns out that last night's storm was called Barney, not Barry. It's about as threatening though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Not quite sure what they give the storms names. I know the Americans have always done it. It doesn't seem to serve a purpose other than to make them ever so slightly hilarious, which doesn't really help. But it was very windy last night. There were gusts of up to 40 miles an hour. I had to take all the plant pots off their ledges and things. Gonna have a wander around today, see if there's any more damage. Hope not, but you never know. It's been far too long since I was in the gardens last, so I thought I'd come and see their preparations for Cure Christmas. Trees and lights going up. Cabins are appearing. And the path will surely be taking shape, I would imagine. Let's go for a little wander whilst the sun's still out. You can see an archway being constructed there, so they're presumably going to take you around the lake. We didn't come last year. It looks like there's dancing fountains being constructed, which is quite cool, and there seems to be some sort of staging being put up by the museum. So that could be very nice if they're doing a full son et lumiere effect. They usually light up the inside of the farmhouse, which is always very nice. The parterre's been finished. It's very nice to be back here. I know it's on my doorstep and I know I can come every day pretty much. But you know, life gets in the way sometimes. If you want more interesting facts about Kew, visit qfacts.co.uk and you can witness some of the wonderful trivia that I've collected over the years. So when I left Global a couple of years ago, I said I was going to go for a walk every morning, and last year this year actually really, it kind of fell apart when I started doing 9 o'clock starts in lots of places. So I figure at the moment, when things are a little bit quieter, I'm going to bring it back starting today and see if it helps. It tends to wake you up a bit more, make you a bit more alert, so that's what I'm hoping. I'm just going to do a cut through the garden essentially from the Palm House all the way down to the pagoda, down Palm Vista, and then I'm going to head out the other end and hop into Richmond. It's very windy today, just in case you hadn't noticed. So I'm going to call him Hurricane Daryl, because I can never remember his name. Barney, Barney's hanging around a bit. He can see the work going on in the temperate house. It looks almost even more enormous with all the scaffolding and sheeting over it. 2.5 years to go. Despite the windiness, I thought I'd walk a bit of the way back. Now, it's been such a mild autumn so far that some of the trees near where just around the corner from the flats, actually, get my words out, are actually budding again. So there's spring buds forming in November, which is a little bit silly, but with winds like this, there's no leaves, so it's probably not going to work. But it is interesting to note, at least, that winter hasn't really set in yet. That said, at the weekend, they are saying there is a chance of snow. Amazing. It's 15 degrees at the moment, but it might snow at the weekend. I'm kind of hoping that it snows when we're in Berlin, but not until we get there. I'd like to just get there first, then I can do the snowing. Because I figure, well, you know, that's what winter in Germany should be all about. It should be cold, really cold. Good afternoon. So, I've just been swimming for the first time in a very long time. Partly because we don't have a beach holiday this year, and I miss being in the water, but also because I feel unbelievably unfit. And I like swimming. The problem is whenever you actually get to a pool, and it's, you know, it's filled with adults, they're all doing lengths and it's intensely dull. I like swimming in the sea, is what I've established. Not so much even at a high-class leisure facility such as this one in Richmond. Nonetheless, I did quite a few lengths. I feel like I've done some exercise. I feel like I deserve lunch. Thank you ever so much for watching this week. I do hope you'll subscribe, because there's only a couple of weeks left before we go to Berlin for Christmas and Christmas markets and general eating and being, you know, jolly. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.